why I'm asking you these questions is so listeners out there and fans of all these indie artists can kind of get in their heads the comparison of what's going on here. And so, that was just a single we're talking about. So now
Right.
when you move that up to a full album or even an EP, now you've got the studio time for a few more songs, but then you've got if you plan to make hard copies of this, you've got CDs, you've got cover art, and all those other little tiny things that go along with putting that album out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just, in that case, if it's an EP, you can quadruple it. And I mean, if it's an album, you're looking at however many tracks you have, 10 to 16 times that. And sometimes you have even more fees with additional songs. So it's not even necessarily like multiply it by 16, because one song maybe you need extra studio musicians for. So it costs even more because you have to pay them too.
Absolutely. It's wow. So are you doing then? You said you'd quit your 9-to-5 job and just making this your full-time career. So I'm assuming you're doing a lot of gigs out there in LA.
I'm gigging, but not as much. That's not really how I make a lot of my money, because even my last show, I just had my single release show at the Gibson Guitar Showroom, and that was a free show, so I didn't make any money from that. What I usually make my money from is writing original music for film, TV projects. Sometimes like DJs and producers need vocalists if they have the instrumentals. So I do, like, my songwriting has been my saving grace, and recording, as a recording artist and a songwriter. That's how I've been making my money, which is to say not from my own music, which is sad because the big mean digital streaming and downloading platforms taking all the money.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's something we're working on here at our site, at the station here, that I'm going to try and my hardest to get into place the beginning of next year, January. And right now I'm reading through the legalities of it and how to set this up to stay copyright compliant and legal. But one of the things we want to do here is we want to become... We don't have the prestigious name, but we want to become like an iTunes. We're trying to set up a part of this site where you artists can sell your singles and your albums digitally, just like you would over at iTunes or Spotify or wherever. But here, we are going to have you artists keep 100% of your sales.
Wow. Yeah, that would be amazing. And honestly, iTunes, it's kind of seen as a necessary evil for a lot of independent artists. So having something that it's a platform that supports the indie artists, I mean, I think people will just love that and flock to that.
I had Kim kind of bugging you and running you around earlier today. And I know that CD Baby is one of the dealers that you deal with. And from what I understand, it's a name I'm hearing more and more. And from what I understand, CD Baby right now is one of the fairest out there compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, CD Baby is pretty cool. It's been a great resource. I also use, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Lander. It's Landr.
Oh, yes.
And
yeah.
I believe it's an extension of CD Baby, or it's owned by CD Baby. Same thing. I know CD Baby, you can actually purchase the music from their website as well. Lander just puts it out there for you. And I had to use that because I was procrastinating last time with getting my single released. But I know CD Baby is one of the fair platforms in terms of music sales. Also, I have to say, when you mentioned you had Kim bugging me, Kim can never bug me because she's wonderful and I love her.
Everybody loves Carney.
Of course. She's the best. Everybody loves you too. You're great too, Rick.
Well, thank you. There was a reason why I had her stalking you earlier, though, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But all right, let's talk about more of your music here, because I really want to get to your latest single, but not just yet.
Okay.
Because there's some differences in my ear that I was catching between some of the ones we've been playing compared to this brand new one. And by the way, I want to tell you, everybody here at the station, when we first listened to your new one, we instantly fell in love. I mean, we went gaga over this latest single of yours, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But I think what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to give us a little bit of a breather here. I'm going to throw in I Will, I Won't. I believe that was the second one that you had submitted to us to play. And I remember the first time I played that one, I fell in love with it. Well, what's I Will, I Won't about?
I Will, I Won't is about kind of the internal struggle and battle that you have with yourself when you're like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be great and I'm going to, achieve all these things. You're like, no, I won't. No, I can't. I mean, hints at how I will, I won't. I tell myself I got it, I don't. It's just like you tell yourself, oh, it's going to be fine, and then it's not fine. And so it's sort of like the manifestation of this internal conflict and battle, like the inner voices kind of that everybody can relate to, where you're kind of down on yourself and then you're encouraging yourself. It's like your best friend and your worst enemy at the same time.
I'm hanging out with Jess Weimer. I got the M in there. Jess Weimer. Here she is with I Will, I Won't. We'll be right back.
If I had the chance, I'd shoot for the stars. They tell me I've got it, but it still feels so far. One day I will, one day I will, one day I will. I'm looking for some peace, yet I've lost my mind. If I search hard enough, we're both I hope to find. Maybe I won't, maybe I won't, maybe I won't. I tell myself I will, but I won't. When I think I got it, I don't. I wish I knew my eyes. It's so hard to try. I want to have it all figured out, to live without any doubt. That's not how it goes. Everybody knows this job has got me broken, but it's why I'm not broke. The truth remains unspoken, but only the truth I spoke. I'll say it all, I'll say it all, I'll say it all. I ask my voice a reason, but I don't have one here. So I asked my voice dreaming. She said to have no fear. Be who you want, be who you want, be who you want. I tell myself I will, but I won't. When I think I got it, I don't. I wish I knew my eyes. It's so hard to try. I wanna have it all figured out, to live without any doubt. It's not how it goes. Everybody knows. 'Cause life is all just push and pull. You can't get unless you give. If everything was wonderful, would it be to live? I tell myself I will, but I won't. When I think I got it, I don't. I wish I knew my life. It's so hard to try. I wanna have it all figured out, to live without any doubt. That's not how it goes. Everybody knows. That's not how it goes. Everybody knows.
All right, that was Jess Weimer. I Will, I Won't. I have the pleasure of sitting on the Mafia couch right now with Jess Weimer. And there's a cushion between us, all right? Don't you get your minds out of the gutters. This is a professional interview. And but yeah, it's hard because we get to chatting off the air there, and we kind of lose track of time there. And I had to cut you off. Like, shut up, Jess. We're going back on.
Yeah, I mean, story of my life. Everybody has telling me I'm talking too much.
So I will, I won't there. And, I mentioned to you off air that there was a very distinctive difference in sound between what we've been playing here at Music Mafia Radio in comparison to your new single, Won't Follow You Down. And I told you, I said, but I'm not gonna get into it until we get back on air.
Right.
Now, and I hope I put this the right way, but this is the way it kind of, it kind of in my ear and in my brain. You know, telltale signs. I will. I won't. Kind of poppy. I don't want to be like, you know, not like, I don't want to say tweeny or you know, like the bubblegum pop or something. But I want to say that when we first listened to your brand new single, Won't Follow You Down, the thing that caught my ear, it was like watching, and just for a lack of a better way of putting this, it was like watching one of your kids grow up or mature. It seemed at a different like maturity level than what we had been playing. And I don't mean maturity like you're immature. It just seemed evolved in a different way.
Yeah, well, I'm happy you noticed that. I know I was listening to Cosmic Debris the other day, or last week. I totally have no concept of time anymore. But what he said is also super touching and really amazing to hear. And I'm glad that you noticed it as well. It's definitely, there's an element of maturity. But for me, it's just I Won't Follow You Down compared to the other ones is the manifestation of me finding my voice, not just my physical voice, but my figurative voice. I had more of a direction with this song. I had a clear intention in mind. I worked on it a little bit more. Also, got to give credit where credit is due. I have amazing producers, Marta and Beto over at the Record House. They produce all my tracks. And I really sat down and worked with them in terms of talking about what I heard. And I had a bunch of reference tracks. And I've always loved rock over all genres. I don't know if I can really say that because I love so many genres. But Won't Follow You Down is just kind of like me saying, hell yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be myself. I'm taking my voice and I'm putting it out there for people to hear.
Well, I got to tell you, you did it in a major way with that track. You really, really did. You know, again, you explained the manifestation a heck of a lot better than I did.
Well, and experience has a huge thing to, or is a huge part of the equation, I should say, because when I did Telltale Signs, that, like I said, that was my first time recording in a professional studio. So it took, almost 2 years for me to say, okay, I know how this works. I can actually go all out here and not hold back like a meek little mouse.
And I got to tell you, now that we sit here and actually talk about it, and it honestly didn't dawn on me till right this second, but I'm thinking about that song in my head right now, and you know what? Listening to that song, I can actually hear some of those influences. I can hear more of those influences in your life in that one more than I can, some of the others.
It Won't Follow You Down?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And that's what I was alluding to earlier. If you listen to that track, you can hear the powerful, soulful influences that I have definitely drawn inspiration from.
Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have them listen to it right now. All right.
Yay!
Jess Weimer with her brand new single. Oh, it's so awesome. You can vouch for me. I told you off air. This track is kick ass.
You did say that, and that made me so happy, and I appreciate that.
This is it. This is the one. And again, I sometimes feel a little guilty about going overly hype on a particular track because I don't want an artist to think, you don't think my other stuff's any good, because we love all your music. But this track right here, this one blew us away. This is the one. This is the one right here. This is Jess Weimer, Won't Follow You Down.
No more mistakes, I'm finally free. I told you before you needed me more. I said you should stay, didn't see it.